So the moment everybody's been waiting for, you got your short hair puppy or your pointing dog breed, you want to see how we get the dogs to actually point birds in the field. We have Mac here, our star of the show. Thank you. And we're going to show you this is his very first time to go out and actually attempt to point birds. We have done all of his groundwork. If you've been following along with his progression, we've collar conditioned him to recall. That's very important as far as an obedience side of things go. We've done a proper bird and gunfire introduction. If he gets a bird pointed and the whole process works out right, I'm actually going to fire a blank pistol today for him. But we've already done that introduction. The last thing is we've taken him on runs through the tall grass. When we do all of these things, it's all laying the groundwork for this next step. We're going to take him out in the field and we're going to pay attention to the wind. Now, I've already got a course set. We use electronic bird launchers because timing is very important in these early stages of the game. And I'm going to show you how we use the wind to his advantage to actually work him across the wind. Everybody's heard, or usually people have heard, that you've got to pay attention to the wind direction. Now, we want this wind, we want to be able to work him into a crosswind, and the reason for that is it's going to make it very easy for us to see if he's running, we have a wind blowing this way, and he runs across that scent cone, and he turns this way into the wind. We know that he's showing us he's recognized that scent, and then that helps us to know that's when we're going to need to launch it. So how this progression works to begin with is we're going to bring him into the first bird, and there's going to be a little bit of assistance here. We're going to help him find these launchers. We know where they're at. When we bring him into this bird, the second that I see he's established that he's paid attention to the scent, that he has recognized the scent of the bird there, we'll see him turn. We might see him get a little birdie and kind of work that direction. As soon as we see him recognize the scent, we're going to launch that. That's going to help to stimulate his natural pointing instincts by showing him that he's, almost overpressured that bird, and next time he smells that bird scent again, he needs to be a little more careful. So as we bring him in, you should see a progression from bird 1 to 2 to 3, and hopefully by the last bird that we've got out here for him today, we'll actually get to see an established point. If not, it's not a big deal. We will take, and we do this in small steps. So if he doesn't point today in this small course, we will set up in another couple days here another small course for him to help him succeed, and we will video that. We want you to see this progression and how it looks live. We're going to send Mac off this direction to start hunting. We're not going to handle him a whole lot other than a little bit toward the birds that we've got set out there. As I'm going, I'm not going to do a whole lot of explaining unless something really weird happens. And then when we get done, I will go over how to use those launchers, maybe how to load a pigeon in them, and show you a couple other things. And then any other questions you guys have, leave them in the comments, and we'll get to those just as soon as we can. All right, Mac, you ready? Come on. Unclip your leash. Good boy. Yeah. All right, come on. Let's go. really good situation here where you got to see how he is getting more comfortable as the run goes on. He got to move down into some of the thicker cover. He's coming back in to check in. These are all natural progressions of a young pup. Get his nose up there. Good boy! Yeah! Good. Part of the reward is getting to chase that bird for a little bit. I'm guessing this last one will be even better. Good boy. Good boy. We're allowed to build off of this. Good boy! Yeah! Good boy! There it is again. Good. Checking out the launcher. Those launchers do hold a lot of scent, which can make the beginning stages of this a little easier too. I'm going to clip Mac up and we'll kind of talk about a little bit of what happened as we went along. Come on, buddy. Back here. Good. Yeah, good. Good boy. All right. That work?
I think I got you. Yep.
Okay. So as you got to see through the different progressions here, we had the first bird that he came into. And he started to work into that a little bit. As soon as I could tell he had scent, I launched it. The next one we brought him into, you saw he got a little more pumped up. He started to open up his search a little more, and we want to encourage that. It's important for them to be able to go and hunt and cover ground. You don't have to constantly be hacking on them if they're not walking right to the next bird with you. It's good for him to get out, search some more cover so that we can eventually build on that independent search in the field. We came into that second launcher and he actually stopped and I launched it immediately. Again, that was a little bit more than last time, building on success as we continue to progress through that. Coming into that last launcher, as soon as he established that he could smell that bird, he locked up on point. And there I was able to wait for a few seconds before launching that. Again, trying to build on success. Now, as he continues to progress through this, and we're going to video it as much as we can, we'll continue to increase that amount of time, allowing us to then be able to walk past Mac and even try and get ahead of him to be able to flush the bird. That would be the ultimate goal. The more we move in on him in these early stages, it's going to pressure him to want to move with us. So you'll be able to see that down the road, but you got to see a great progression of a puppy that got to smell his first bird in the field to coming into this last bird here in this short walk and actually point it and establish point. Now, we can bring you over here to show how to load these launchers, but the launchers are a very important part of how we like to do this. That timing is important. If I had a kick-up basket, those are another way that you can plant birds and have them stay there. That's just a little basket that sits over top of the bird. I would have had to get in front of him or put a check cord on him. And when we do those things, we aren't allowing his natural instincts to point to develop. And that's the way that we prefer to do things, is allowing the dog to naturally point and build off of that natural instinct to point bird, rather than holding them back or making them point via holding onto them with a leash or check cord. Now there's tons of different ways out there to do it, but this is the way that we do. Using electronic launchers is key. If we don't have that proper timing, we can't make the progressions the way that we want to. So
I also wanted to just throw in a couple little things. Some people make the mistake of putting a little flag by their launchers.
yeah, absolutely.
And these dogs are very visually oriented, and they're going to start seeing those flags and potentially just pointing the flag and not the scent. They might not even be actually downwind of the bird, and they'll be pointing where the flag is at. So these launchers actually have a beeper feature on them. So if you lose your launcher in the field, you can find it that way.
Yes, we do try and pick objectives, places that birds are naturally going to be. Typically a bird's not going to be sitting out in the middle of bare ground, which it can happen, but they're going to be in some of the thicker stuff, kind of along the edges of draws or whatever. And the more realistic as you go along you can make your training situation, the easier it's going to transition. The dog's going to be able to transition from the training field to the field with wild birds. Now, if you want to come down over here, we can show, I've just got this bird launcher tucked into some grass so that he won't be able to see it like that when he comes up on the bird.
I'm going to see if I can get a hold on to Mac so that
Perfect.
I can let you use two hands to show this.
The launcher folds down like this with a locking bar over top. You press the button once to set that. Then we have the release button on the transmitter. This is bird that launches that. Now, there's two different ways that you can set these. DTs actually have a trap door, which would help for a couple different things. You can close this down. I'll put the bird away. Close this down like we were showing. Press this button. That locks this into place. And then you have a trap door on the back that you can actually load your bird in through. And you've got big homered pigeons. Sometimes they don't fit the greatest, but there you go. So bird is loaded in there. You close this back down, you're ready to go. If you don't end up using the launcher for some reason, you can take this out, especially if you were going to put quail or chucker, something that's not going to come back. These homing pigeons come back, so we always would just launch them. Now, I'm going to go ahead and launch this one. Pigeon's gone. Woohoo! The other way that you can do it, if you start loading a lot of them, it's almost a little bit faster, and in my opinion, to just roll the bird down into the launcher, push the button, and you're good to go. Then you can set it in cover, and then again, work the dog downwind. If we bring, especially younger dogs, straight into the wind, so the wind would be right in their face, blowing off of this bird from a long distance, a lot of times it's going to encourage them to creep up on that scent, and in the early stages we don't want that. That's why we did the cross scent training. But
it almost startles them into, whoa, what was that scent? And they stop themselves. Whereas if they can have a nose full of scent for a very long distance, they can creep in, and not actually establish any type of point.
Absolutely. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to put those in the comments. Like the video, share the video, and follow along. We will be showing you, again, everything new that we teach this little dog, Mac, is going on Facebook Live. So if you've got any questions for us, don't hesitate. If you have questions about things you'd like to see him do, we can try and teach him.